Today I've got a few different things I'm going to do. First I'm going to start off with the tiered tray. I picked up these really lightweight pans and those two funky little glasses at the thrift store a while back, and when I grabbed them I thought they'd make a really cute tier tray. It's pretty tall, it's a pretty nice size, so using E6000 and hot glue I'm going to go ahead and construct this. I had a little struggle there with my E6000, but you know how it is. So just putting that down, I have marked where they go so everything can be, well, as even as it can. It's easy to do it on one side, not so easy to do it on the other. So putting these together, pressing them down, holding it until that hot glue kind of sets up a little. As you can see, I've sped this up, but that's fine. So we'll get that put together, and that's it for that. Next, I'm using this little pumpkin sign that I picked up at Family Dollar. It was a $1 item, so probably also available at Dollar Tree. So I'm going to take it all apart, and I broke the base a little bit, but it's okay because I fix it later. Yeah. Memo to me next time: use the heat gun to melt that glue and don't break things. Yeah. I wasn't really thinking, I guess. So once I fix it, don't worry. I just glue it back together. It's no problem. And you'll never know. You'll never know. See? Easy. But the fun part's taking that off with all of that glitter underneath. Oh, what a mess. So I'm just going to cover it up with a piece of orange cardstock. So I just use some spray adhesive and cut that out, and you know, trimming down the edges, and I'll take sandpaper to it just to smooth that out a little bit better. But it's fine for what I'm doing. And on the back side, then I'm going to go ahead and paint that white, because that's the side that I'm going to be using. Honestly, it's because I don't know if my transfer tape will work on paper. So I painted it white, and I'm going to go ahead and take some time to tell you about this collaboration that I'm taking part in today. This collab is hosted by DIY from House to Home. It's the Pumpkin Patch Fall Pumpkin Collab. There are 8 of us in this collab today, and it's really fun, really exciting. Check my description box for the link to the playlist so you can see the other 7 creators and all of their pumpkin crafts. It's that time of year, pumpkin everything, right? It's everywhere. Don't forget to like and subscribe to them as well. Spread that YouTube goodness, you know how I say. So it's painted white, and the next part of this is going to be me applying a vinyl to that white, which I have coated with a layer of Mod Podge matte, just so I know I'm not going to pull any paint up when I, you know, pull off my transfer tape. I have problems with that. Am I the only one? What's the trick to that so you don't pull up your paint? So just putting that on there, because honestly I couldn't really think of, I just couldn't think of what else to do. But I thought I would zhuzh it up a little bit by adding some florals, some leaves. Some of this stuff did come from Dollar Tree. So I'm just going to hot glue these in place. And any opportunity I have to decorate with maple leaves, I do. That was one of the things growing up in Ohio that, you know, I just loved the fall. It's my favorite season, and it's because of the colors of the leaves and stuff. Out here, I don't really get much of that here in Central Texas. I mean, our trees are pecan and live oak, and you know, they're green and they die off, and that's it. They're not pretty red and, you know, yellow and stuff like that. So of course I had to have a sunflower because you know me and my sunflowers. So I'm just going to hold that in place till it cures. Looking pretty good. And I can go ahead and get it back on the base that I did glue. I repaired it. And yeah, you're not going to see it anyway because it's that little demarcation or whatever is in the back. So it's just going to hide back there. And I'm not going to glue it back in place because it's standing pretty, it's fine. It's staying in there pretty good, so I don't need to glue it. So that's that one, and there's one pumpkin down. And now on to the next part, which is I'm using my Cricut, and I've got some cardboard from my Pepsi 15 pack or 18, however many are in there. And I cut out all these shapes and I layered them together with, I'm using my Mod Podge, and I layered 6. And I do this twice. I made 12, so I layered 6, and this stuff is strong. It's like really thick chipboard, or yeah, chipboard. This stuff, I think that's what it is. Tough enough that I can actually just drill a hole through it, which is what I'm going to do here. And I'm going to drill a hole because I couldn't find any pumpkin tags locally, and I thought, well, I have all these pieces of thin cardboard, I might as well use them. So I've got my hole ready, and I'm going to do that on both. I only use one in this video though. I'm making a bead garland for this video because, I mean, bead garlands. And I sanded the back. I don't know why I did that. I think I was trying to see if the color would come off from my Pepsi, but so I'm going to cover this in cottage white home folk art chalk paint, and I'm going to do it on both. And then on one side I'm going to paint with this jack-o'-lantern by Apple Barrel, and I got those both coated white on both sides and got those painted nice and orange. And I put the antique wax on the sides, and it lapped over onto the back, so I'm just going to go ahead and do the backs too. So now I'm going to paint some beads, and I love this color. Oh, it's so pretty. And it is forest moss folk art, and I use the antique wax on the little spacer beads on the small ones. So I'm going to do those. Yeah, folk art forest moss. And all of the ones that I can, if I can find them on Amazon, I'll link them in my description boxes, will be affiliate links. And there's the antique wax from folk art. I love this stuff. I don't do wood colors much, but this one is actually like chef's kiss. I love it. So there's my garland. It's so pretty. I'm in love with it, honestly. I wasn't sure that orange and that green will work, but I think it does. I think it does. Again, that's Jack-O-Lantern by Apple Barrel, and the folk art forest moss, the folk art antique wax, and of course Mod Podge, and that's in the matte finish, and also the cottage white in the folk art chalk paint range. So now I have these foam balls that I picked up for a penny at Dollar General. Just happened to get a deal on them. So I'm going to use one of those, and my somebody called me out on the rope of hat from my Bohemian video, which I'll leave in the cards. My hat rope, I guess, because I used a straw hat from the Dollar Tree. And so I'm just going to use some of the leftover for this, and I'll put a nice big old hole in the top. That will help me to glue down my little strands there, and also to put a stem and leaves inside. And then I'm going to smoosh the bottom to try to flatten it out. Okay, now this is not, it's not like floral foam, which is really got a lot of give. This stuff doesn't have any give to it at all. I mean, I was pushing really hard on that and putting a lot of weight behind it, trying to flatten that bottom out. So, it's fine. It's crooked, but you know, hey, pumpkins aren't always level anyway, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, and I'll use hot glue just there in the hole where I put the ends. I don't glue all the way around. And I'm just going to do that and crisscross around the whole thing and just cover it in that. Okay, so I don't cover it completely. As you can see, there's parts of it sticking out. And my solve for this was just to paint it. I didn't want to bulk it up too much, so I'm just going to go ahead and give it a layer of paint, and I'm going to use this vintage mustard folk art chalk paint. I love this color so much. It's gorgeous. So that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to cover it, and there it is. It's not orange, it's not yellow, and I just left the bottom. It's fine. It's fine. We don't need to worry about that. So now it's time to put a stem, and I don't have any twigs, so my solve for that was just to use one of those little mini tumbling tower blocks. The only ones I was able to find when I did get to a Dollar Tree were the mini ones, not the big ones. So I took my scroll saw and I cut it down, and I'm going to cover that with the antique wax, and I'll just shove that down in there. Use a generous amount of hot glue to get that settled in there. And leaves that I pulled off of my sunflower stem, and that's what I will be using to do the stem and the leaves. Pretty easy and cheap. Really, I mean, if you think about it, it's a really pretty cheap thing. I can't believe I found those foam balls for a penny. They were the only ones there, and I was like, oh yeah, okay. I thought they were going to be like $2.50. We get to the register, and you know, I scan them, and it's like, and my mom works at Dollar General, so she's like, are there any more of these back there? I was like, no, because she was at work that day. I was like, no. She's like, well, these are pennied. I was like, oh my gosh, what luck. So yeah, check out your Dollar General. Sometimes you can get those penny finds, and you never know what you're going to get, you know? So there's that. And that's my last pumpkin craft. And here's my tier tray with all of my pumpkins and my little mini tray over there on the side. As you can see, there's just a lot of pumpkins here. And yeah, there's a little sneak peek of my other little pumpkin I made a few weeks ago. That porcelain one I also found at Dollar General. Yeah, there he is. My little guy. He's in my shorts, if you can find that one. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to check out all of the other videos in the playlist, which is linked in my description box below. Have a great week, y'all. Take care. Bye.